hate dishes.
We hate dishes.
And we've got a solution for you. These freezer to sheet pan meals mean that at most you have one dish, but if you cover it with parchment paper or aluminum foil, really, it's just a wipe down, if that. So we are saving the moms and dads of the world from dishes.
Yay! I'm Christy.
And I'm Charla, and we are here from Freezer Meals 101, where we teach you all things freezer meal, including how to save that mental load, like how to not have to think about what am I gonna make for dinner. We call it the 4 p.m. dinner dread because it's like every day at 4 o'clock, you're like, oh no, I forgot.
Why do they have to eat every single day? We have a solution for you. We just make freezer meals and we stack them up in our freezer. So in the morning, we just chop from our own freezer and take out a meal that's already made.
It is really a better way to live.
It really is. That is a mental load that we don't have to carry. Sometimes we still forget, and at 4 o'clock, we think, oh, I forgot to take out a freezer meal, but then we take out a skinny one, and then it's easy to thaw.
Exactly. Or you put a sink full of water and, thaw it in there.
There's ways around it. Microwaves have a defrost method. There's ways around it.
It still works. So we save you that mental load, these save you time, and they save you a ton of money. And I know with rising grocery prices, that is something that might be on your mind. So this is a potential solution for you. We're gonna walk you through how today. Okay, this first meal came about because a little while back, our local grocery store was having a 2-for-1 sale on potato gnocchi. And we had been talking about starting to maybe add some gnocchi recipes into our freezer meal repertoire because it's something that we hadn't done before. Christy hadn't eaten it before.
I have never eaten gnocchi.
And I had, but mainly at restaurants, or I had once or twice cooked with it, just the store-bought ones. I haven't made my own, rolled my potato gnocchi on my own or anything like that. But I just thought there's a place in our repertoire
Absolutely.
for gnocchi. And when I saw that it was 2-for-1, I was like, this is the time. This is the time that I'm going to buy a whole bunch and start experimenting with recipes. I know that it freezes well, so I know that we can make a lot of different variety and different things. I'm gonna put a link right there to a video where we did some super frugal family freezer meals, and we used some of that gnocchi because 2-for-1, I mean,
that's half price.
You got to take advantage of that. So this was also from that 2-for-1 gnocchi, and this is the sheet pan sausage gnocchi meal. What we did before we started is we did a little bit of prep with our vegetables. We cut them into pretty large chunks, so it was super easy prep. And then into your large freezer bag, you're gonna add your chunks of red pepper, yellow pepper, orange pepper, and purple onion. So already you've got these beautiful rainbow colors, and it is already starting to look healthy and delicious. Then you're gonna add some sliced sausage, some minced garlic. We just use garlic from a jar because we find it's just good enough and saves us a lot of time. So we're all about saving the time. Then we're gonna add some oregano, salt, and about a tablespoon of olive oil, and then we're gonna put in our package of potato gnocchi. We're gonna toss that all together in the bag because then you are not dirtying a bowl. So again, less dishes. You can mix it all up in there, and then you're going to remove your excess air because when you're freezer cooking, air is the enemy. It makes you have freezer burn, and we don't want freezer burn. We are like, we should have pins that are like, moms against freezer burn. Anyway, then once that's in your freezer, on the day you go to cook it, you just take it out and thaw it. You're gonna dump those bag contents onto a parchment paper lined cookie sheet and bake it at 400 degrees for 35 minutes. So dinner's on the table in just over half an hour. This is awesome. If you want to like fancy it up,
yes, because we do that around here.
then you can drizzle this with some balsamic reduction and maybe a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Now, years and years ago, I was able to buy some balsamic reduction bottles from Costco. They had all these different flavors, which I've really enjoyed. I think I have like a strawberry fig and like a chili lime, and then the original, maybe another kind. Anyway, I play around with them and figure out what tastes best on what, and especially with appetizers and things like that.
Totally.
But this is a recipe that you could do a little bit of the balsamic drizzle on, and it would just elevate your simple sheet pan meal. Now, if you are new to freezer meals or new to sheet pan meals, then we've got something exciting for you. And that is, we have a free, totally free, no strings attached, sheet pan freezer meal cooking class that we're inviting you to. We've got the description in the link below, and that class is totally different recipes than what we're sharing with you today. So you could pair what you make in that class with the ones from today and have like a whole lot more variety. And you could double the ones today and double the ones in the class, which the class does double them anyway, and just end up with a heck of a lot of delicious meals.
The No Fuss Sheet Pan Cooking class will come to you in an email. You can print out the PDF or you can look at it on your device. Like Charla said, there are other meals in it. You will get the recipes for pesto chicken and vegetables, sheet pan chicken fajitas, Cajun sausage and root vegetables, beef and broccoli, which is, oh my goodness, definitely one of my favorites, and the sweet and sour meatballs. We always laugh when we make the sweet and sour meatballs. We've noticed that if our family sees it in the freezer, we don't have to take out anything for supper. It is already out and defrosting because that is what they want. It is a really good one. And yes, we have a Cajun sausage and root vegetable, but when you look at the recipe in here versus the sheet pan sausage gnocchi, they're actually such different recipes. Each of these have their own flavor, their own variety, but they all end up being on a sheet pan. It is easier for you, it's easier for your dishes, and it's really tasty. Included in each meal plan will be a prep list, your recipes. It will include a shopping list. Each of the shopping lists will break it down to tell you how much you want to buy if you want to do one of each recipe for 5 meals or double it for 10 meals.
You want to do that. Not that I'm telling you what to do, but like, trust me, that's what you want to choose.
Do. And lastly, our favorite part, each of these will come with printable labels that you can print out onto, like Avery labels that you can get at your business center. You can probably buy them at Walmart. They stick nicely to the bags, and it includes the cooking instructions, so you don't have to refer back to the recipe, you don't have to look it up online. You could gift these, your teenagers could make them. There is nothing stopping you from cooking these properly because the label is already included. This next recipe is the maple salmon sheet pan meal. We're going to start out by peeling and thinly slicing some sweet potato or yams. We're going to add them to a large freezer bag, and we're going to include some garlic, some salt and pepper, some olive oil, lemon juice, and a little drizzle of maple syrup, because that is our Canadian secret ingredient. In another large freezer bag, you're going to add your salmon fillet that has already been divided out into portions, and we're going to add some more maple syrup. You're going to squish them around in both the bags, make sure they're evenly coated, seal your bags up, and then staple them together and apply your label. When you go to cook these, you're going to cover your sheet pan with some parchment paper or some tin foil. You're going to add the sweet potatoes first and cook them at 425 for 15 minutes. Then you're going to add your salmon, and you're going to cook it for another 15 to 20 minutes until your salmon is flaking nicely, and then you know it's fully cooked. Another great thing to add to these, in the beginning, you could also add some baby potatoes. You can add some asparagus spears.
It makes a full meal, especially if you add those extra vegetables.
Absolutely. Yes, and just more flavor, and they can all cook together. Pot roast is pot roast for a reason. They all cook together and it makes for great flavors. Sheet pans are the same thing. And it's wild how delicious they are, the caramelization that happens, the flavors that meld. You will be so pleased with sheet pan meals.
True story. I'm so glad we've discovered them.
I'm so glad that we've discovered sheet pan meals.
It's only been the last maybe 2 years. Christy and I are neighbors. She lives 2 doors that way. And we've been doing freezer meals together for 11 years, and we were both doing them before we met. So we've been doing them a very long time, but we hadn't discovered sheet pan meals until about 2 years ago.
And then it's like, you know, when you discover something and then they're everywhere. Sheet pan meals are everywhere. They kind of are all the rage, and we love these ones. More than the Instant Pot, more than the air fryer, because there's not even really a learning curve to them.
No.
You just put it in and it's done. And it's healthy and it's delicious.
And some of the recipes we've discovered, like our chicken fajita sheet pan, our shrimp fajita sheet pan, we have a whole section on our website that is dedicated to sheet pan freezer meals. And so that's how much we love them.
And these new ones will be probably showing up on there, so you watch for them. They'll get there.
Now, this next sheet pan invention came about because I've been actively trying to get new recipes for us that are more along the lines of like the Mediterranean diet, just because it's supposed to be so healthy for you, and especially for women who are getting a little older.
Come with us on our perimenopause journey as we experience the Mediterranean diet.
Yes, and so the Mediterranean diet, because it has protein, vegetables, the good fats, you know, all of those kinds of things, is supposed to really, really be good for both your body and your brain, actually. And so we are trying to steer a little bit more in that direction. We still are always going to have like our comfort food kind of things.
And there's going to be family friendly. Don't worry, there's no shortage of sloppy Joe recipes. But, you know, there is a place for Mediterranean diet. There is a place for healthy meals where that they're accessible and that they're enjoyable and that they're easy. Because that's usually the hardest part about cooking healthy food. But when you're prepping your onions or prepping your peppers or your zucchini or whatever you are putting in, it really doesn't take that much longer to do a few more, double your meals, get some in the freezer. And that is healthy food with vegetables that you get to eat later on.
And that you can feel really good about feeding your family because you know they're eating healthy. Healthier than maybe the drive-through or, you know, the pizza delivery that you were doing because you were not doing freezer meals, right? So this is, it's just a great way of life.
Yeah, it is.
We so appreciate, even all these years later, it is not lost on us how stressful it was when we had to think about what to make for dinner every day. We just are passionate about the freezer meals.
We really are. We really are. Why else would we have a channel? We want to teach you about freezer meals. That's why our channel is called Freezer Meals 101. That's what it means. It's to teach you how to do it. It isn't making meals. When I tell people about my job, they get confused. They're like, so you're making meals for people? No, we're teaching people how to make their own meals. We've made over 5,000 meals ourselves. We do consider ourselves experts, thank you very much. We have a lot to share, we have a lot of tips. And, you know, we have classes, we have beginner videos. So listen, you can do it, anybody can do it, and we want that for you.
We believe in you. Like, we know you can do this. And even if you're not a cook, freezer meals can be the thing that transform you into a cook. It's really accessible for everyone.
Lynette, I'm looking at you. She's in our Facebook group. She used to call herself the Hamburger Helper Mom. And now she's like the freezer meal queen. She asks questions and she has learned so much. We have a really great Facebook group, just so you know.
And the link for that is down below too. But like you, Christy and I, we talk about you behind your backs in the nicest way. And we are like, oh my goodness, this makes me so happy.
We are delighted.
Like, oh, we love seeing We hear in that group about people that were afraid of cooking, that hadn't cooked for years, that thought they weren't a good cook, who now are experimenting and trying new recipes and asking questions and learning, and oh, it makes our hearts soar.
It really, really does.
Okay, this recipe that I've been talking to you about for a long time now, but it is our Mediterranean chicken sheet pan meal, and it's so good. So into your large freezer bag, you're going to add some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Thighs are nice because the brown meat is just a little bit more, what's the word?
The dark meat is more tender and flavorful.
Yes. Then we're gonna add in a little bit of sun-dried tomato and oregano salad dressing. Now this is a nice little cheat because it makes it so that you don't have to make your own homemade dressing ingredients in here. You just throw this one thing in. Then some minced garlic, again from the jar, some Greek seasoning, dried or fresh mint. I happen to have fresh right now in my indoor herb garden, so I'm using fresh. Some lemon juice, capers, pitted Kalamata olives, and purple onions that are again just cut into fairly large chunks. You're going to squish that all around to combine it. You're gonna get out your excess air, seal it, freeze it. On the day you go to cook this, you thaw it, you dump all those ingredients onto a parchment paper lined cookie sheet, and you want to add some baby tomatoes at this point. Baby tomatoes are not going to freeze nicely, so we didn't add them into our freezer bag, but at this point you're just going to throw some baby tomatoes on that cookie sheet and then just give it a stir, and you're going to bake this at 400 for 25 minutes. That means in under half an hour you've got dinner on the table. You sprinkle it with crumbled feta at the end if you want. If you're not a fan of feta, you can skip this step, but I love cheese, so I highly recommend it. Then you're gonna put it back in the oven under broil just for a minute or two to crisp everything up. Now you can serve this just as is because there are a lot of different things going on here, or you can serve this over couscous or rice if you wanted to really be fancy. You could have this with a side Greek salad.
So as you can see, we have 3 recipes here that are wildly different in variety, but they have the same cooking method. It is less dishes, they all are healthy, and they're just all really fantastic to have in your freezer.
You are going to be so pleased with yourself when you open your freezer door and you see that this week's meals are done, because if you doubled each of these, you would have enough for a week. Or if you went and did our sheet pan cooking class, you'd have enough for many weeks. And then you could just sit back, watch your favorite TV show on the couch. This summer, I was watching, what is it called?
Farming for
Farming
Love.
for Love, the Canada version. Was so sweet. It was not...
I'm not caught up.
I'm not going to say anything then.
I'm not caught up. We've been watching it together like staggered because she's been away and I would catch up and now she's ahead of me.
So I'm not completely finished the end. So I don't know how it ended, but I know more than you know.
Okay.
But it's the sweetest show because it's not like catty or there's nothing like what's the word?
It's very Canadian.
Yeah. There's not a lot of drama.
There's not a lot of drama. There's a bit of drama. You want some tension, but they're not.
It's sweet.
It's sweet.
It's so sweet.
It's
oh my
super
goodness.
wholesome and it's lovely.
For a dating show,
and
my goodness.
As a dating show goes, it said in the first episode that it's a worldwide show from different countries. They have the highest incidences of marriage that have stayed. And I want to say there's been like 184 marriages that have happened over the years from this show.
And like 300 kids or something.
There's been
like that.
many, many babies born. So that they're farmers and they're looking for somebody to come live with them on the farm and be their wife or husbands. There are some lady farmers too.
Yeah, there's almost half are lady farmers.
Yeah, and it's just been really great to watch. It's a nice diversion from like your regular bachelorette. It is.
And I've been watching MasterChef, and you've been watching MasterChef Canada.
Yes.
And I've been watching a little bit of like Iron Chef. I'm always looking for cooking inspiration. So on Netflix, I've been watching a little bit of that. I don't know what else I've been watching.
Oh, we've just been watching like Below Deck.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There are so many seasons and so many varieties of Below Deck, and it is just complete trash TV, and it just seems to never end, and it's awesome. There's a place in my life anyway for trash TV, and that's okay. It's okay to have that. It's a guilty pleasure. I don't mind.
And I'm looking forward to the new Survivor starting. Actually, I don't know if I should say this publicly, but my husband's actually applying for Survivor.
It's been
like his lifelong dream.
In the last couple of years, they've started to allow Canadians, and there have been Canadians that make it very far.
2 winners that were from Canada.
See, it's because the nice ones sneak in there and just snatch it from you. Maybe.
I don't know, but anyway, he is working right now on his audition video, so
watch out for...
If you know anyone at that TV network, you know, and you have any strings you can pull,
give us a shout.
Yes, because it really is. It's his lifelong
It is a dream of his, and we support it. That's exciting.
So, I went off on a tangent there about
That's okay.
TV.
Sometimes we talk about book club.
We talk about all kinds of things, not just freezer meals over here, but once you have your meals in your freezer, you'll have time to watch the trash TV or the good TV, or to read a good book, or to go out and spend time doing the things you love. So we're really excited to hear how it goes for you. We're gonna put a video right there to some one-pot meals, because those are very, very different, because they're more like that comfort food, pastas and that, but
there's no more
less
dishes.
Because it's just one pot. You see where the theme is going, right?
Can you tell? Can you tell we hate dishes? And that's okay.
I'm
Some
a mom
people
of
like
7. I have done more than my fair share of dishes over the years.
That is fair. That is fair. So we're saving you time, we're saving you money, we're saving you dishes, we're saving you mental load, and we're so glad that you were here with us today, and thank you for tuning in.
This has been fun. Happy cooking.